Although a franchise like Mario is mostly known for fighting Bowser at the very end of its games, he's not the only one who's given Mario and his allies their fair share of troubles. Most of these villains are no slouches when it comes to their capabilities in a fight either. Ones like Bowser Jr., Antasma, or Kamek, just to name a few examples. So which one of these guys is at the very top of their craft? Well, that's what I'm here for today. We're going over the top 10 strongest villains in the Mario universe. To be perfectly clear, this isn't going to be a list that's based off which boss fights are the hardest in terms of gameplay for the actual player. That will be factored in somewhat, but I'm mainly focusing on the capabilities of these villains if they were forced to all fight each other in a free-for-all gladiator match inside a coliseum or something. So even though a boss like Phantom Manta from Super Mario Sunshine is considered pretty hard gameplay-wise, all it really does is swim around and spread electric goo, and nothing more, nothing less. Okay, now that that's been cleared up, let's get into the actual list. Number 10, Cackletta. Cackletta served as the main antagonist to the first ever Mario & Luigi game developed by Alpha Dream, Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, with her goal being to resurrect a magical object known as the Beanstar using Princess Peach's voice. Once awoken, the Beanstar would have the power to grant anyone's wishes or fulfill one's greatest desire, which for Cackletta was to rule the world. Mario & Luigi's first fight against Cackletta was at a place called the Woohoo University, where her abilities consisted of conjuring strikes of lightning that can hit both Mario and Luigi at the same time, as well as be used more than once in one turn, cloning herself into 4 different versions of herself, and the ability to summon black holes that move towards Mario or Luigi at very awkward to dodge speeds. Getting caught in one will cause one of them to fall from the sky, dealing damage, with the possibility to add a heavy weight effect to them for a certain period of time. So she can essentially mess with the gravity of multiple people if they get caught in one of her black holes. Once defeated, she doesn't perish completely, with her soul actually living on. At some point, she finds an opportunity to possess Bowser and uses his body to help further her plans of world domination. Not going to add the Bowletta feats to her arsenal because those are technically just things Bowser can do. Her soul, on the other hand, is a whole different beast. The soul can create rods of fire she can completely control the movement of, conjure balls of plasma, and quite literally stop time for a few seconds in order to fire lasers out of her eyes. That attack used to screw with me so much as a kid, honestly. If Cackletta was able to show more of what she could do in her own body, then I think she might have been higher. It's just that her powers of destruction don't compare to quite the same level as the rest of the villains on this list. Before we get deeper into the video, if you enjoy the content over on WeegMan, be sure to hit that subscribe button with the notifications turned on so you don't miss out on your regular dose of Weeg content. The number 9 spot goes to the Dark Star Core, also known as Dark Fawful. Starting off as Cackletta's henchman to becoming one of the main antagonists in Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, oh how far this little gremlin has come. Hardly anyone stood a chance against this guy when he combined his own genius with the power of the Dark Star, allowing him to create black holes just like Cackletta and shoot blasts of dark magic into them to aim at his opponents. His final form has him working in tandem with the Dark Star, only being able to take proper damage if you attack the main part of the top of its head, which he doesn't allow unless you take out his eyes and legs first. This doesn't stop the Dark Star from putting up a fight on its own too. This thing will unleash a dark blast so powerful that Mario and Luigi are only able to dodge it with the help of Starlo. It can potentially one-shot you depending on the stat spread you have. This attack being one of the main reasons I gave this guy the slight edge over Cackletta, although both fights are similar in the sense where you need to damage multiple areas of the boss first before you can actually deal damage to win. Cackletta's soul doesn't have a move that can 100 to 0 you from full health pretty much at any point in the fight. If the bros attacks in this game weren't so unbelievably unbalanced, I think this fight would have been a lot harder for some of us gameplay-wise as well. At number 8, we have Smithy from Super Mario RPG Legend of the 7 Stars, serving as the game's main antagonist. His goal was to get rid of wishes and overwhelm the world with weapons, such as tanks, swords, and hammers. From the get-go, proves himself to be at least building level when he drove his sword named Exor through Bowser's Keep, which crashed through Star Road in the process. This was just a taste of what he could do though. When you actually fight him, it's a whole different level of power. The first phase mainly consists of him using a move Sledge, which has a giant piece of wood slam all 3 of you at once, doing decent enough damage. He can also summon a miniature meteor shower that also does AoE damage. The second phase is where he can change the shape of his head into 4 different faces. The tank face, the magic face, the treasure face, and the masked face. The tank face and the masked face being the most useful overall, I'd say. And not only is the tank the most defensive of the 4, but it also has a move called Magnum that has the possibility to one-shot one of Mario's partners, whereas the masked head can heal him using Recover or Mega Recover. The bright side for the heroes is each of the heads has a specific elemental weakness, so with that in mind, he can't just spam head switches in a real fight and expect to be completely safe. Everyone else in this theoretical free-for-all has more than enough to cover that. Number 7, Elder Princess Shroob. For most of the adventure throughout Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, it was believed the regular Princess Shroob was the big bad to worry about. But in reality, she had an older twin sister that was sealed within an object known as the Cobalt Star, the very thing that was used to power Professor Egad's time machine. The Mario brothers thought they were doing the right thing trying to retrieve this item, but unknowingly freed the Elder Princess Shroob from her prison. During her first phase, she can shoot blasts of pink energy from her hands, both large ones and small ones, create shockwaves after landing on the ground, charge at you with high speeds like an NFL offensive tackle, and even summon a meteorite to try to crush Mario or Luigi with, only dropping it if one of them uses the hammer attack enough times to stop her rampage. Her second phase turns her into an even bigger monster than before, giving her much longer range with her tentacle hands and feet now, on top of being able to create even stronger blasts of energy than before just from her mouth this time instead of her hands. Her head is the weak spot in this form, but her crown has to be deactivated first, and the only way to do that is to temporarily take out her arms and her legs, which can regenerate after a period of time as well. Yeah, Cackletta and Dark Fawful could also do this, but they had been completely defeated one time before being allowed to do so. Elder Princess Shroob was able to do this all in one battle, with no breaks in between. And even after the bros defeat her in this form, she's still not totally dead. She was merely turned into a purple mushroom, which Bowser ended up consuming on accident in the end, turning himself into Shrowser. This fight wasn't really anything crazy since it was just a fireball dodge simulator, but it just goes to show how much it takes to take this creature down. Also potentially a bit of a convoluted continuity here, but she can be seen frozen in ice in the cold room for Bowser's castle in Bowser's Inside Story, which can imply they were forced to freeze her because they couldn't find a way to actually kill her, which insane if true. Kind of a shame this fight was also kind of a joke compared to a lot of the other Mario and Luigi fights due to how many bros attacks had infinites in this game. Number 6 is reserved for the Shadow Queen, the secret main antagonist from Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. A 1,000-year-old demon that wreaked havoc on Rogueport and its surrounding areas in the past. It wasn't until 4 heroes were able to seal her behind the 1,000-year door with the help of 7 magical objects known as the Crystal Stars. Objects she created, by the way. Just her resurrection alone made every main area you could travel to in this game turn completely black as if it was nighttime, even though it wasn't. During the early stages of the battle, she was completely invincible until Mario was given some extra energy from Princess Peach and the rest of the friends he made along the journey. In battle, she has a lightning strike attack like Cackletta, a hand leech move that can drain your HP and heal herself at the same time, as well as a traditional hand slam. At one point during the fight, she even drains the souls of everyone in the battle audience to get herself back to a more ideal state. Didn't even have to move from her spot to do this either. Gameplay wise too, she's one of the genuinely challenging boss fights in the entire Paper Mario 1000 Year Door game, a game consisting of mostly fairly easy fights regardless of what strategies you want to use against them. The number 5 spot goes to King Olly, the main antagonist to Paper Mario the Origami King. Some may argue King Olly should be below the likes of the Shadow Queen, but just hear me out here. King Olly was reforming reality itself in this game, and not just during the final boss fight, but throughout varying areas of the game leading up to that as well, turning tons of life forms and other objects into origami that obeyed his every command, whether it be Koopas, Goombas, or Gooper Blooper himself. The actual battle with him shows the vast variety in his power besides just standard origami crafting. At the start, he can turn into any one of the 4 Vellumental gods that Olivia is able to turn into, giving him the powers of Pyrokinesis, Cryokinesis, Geokinesis, and Hydrokinesis. The next phase has him duking it out in a sumo match against a giant origami Bowser, both of them increasing in size as well. Bowser having trouble pushing him off alone without the help of Mario at that. Olly had to completely reform the castle for this section of the fight too, which he ends up doing again in the final phase, where he turns into an even bigger version of himself with much longer arms now. The only thing strong enough to stop him is a combo attack between Mario and Olivia, which has to be done in a set amount of time or else he automatically defeats you. Now one could argue, but Weege, he's just doing paper relating morphing, it's not that big of a deal, it's just paper. Well, if Mario and Luigi Paper Jam has taught me anything, it's the paper versions of oneself scaled to around the same as the real world versions of oneself. So with that in mind, the everything is just paper argument becomes kind of null and void. Number 4. Count Bleck, the 3rd entry in a row from the Paper Mario series and the original main antagonist to Super Paper Mario before being replaced by Dimentio. Once going by the name Blumiere and belonging to a tribe of darkness, he eventually found love with a human girl named Timpani. However, his father forbid this love due to her being human, so he banished her from their dimension and erased her memory. Feeling like he had nothing left in the universe, Bleck sought out to destroy everything, using the powers of the Dark Prognosticus and the Chaos Heart. The power of the Chaos Heart made this guy untouchable until the 7 Pure Hearts broke his barrier. But even with that broken, he had the power to create miniature wormholes to suck you into, control time on a specific target to either make them faster or move slower, teleportation, and levitation. Plus, he can make the voids powerful enough to suck in several targets at once like he did in the prologue of the game, on top of being able to destroy the entire Samur Kingdom before the game's climax even happened. As powerful as he was, he still wasn't enough for Mario and friends, even showing remorse for his actions after finding out his love was alive. Pretty happy that he was able to get somewhat of a happy ending for himself, honestly. Number 3. King Boo. One of the most notable bad guys in the Mario franchise besides Bowser himself, this guy has served as a major obstacle to both Mario and Luigi individually on multiple occasions. More often Luigi though, especially in recent times. Because of his species as a Boo, almost any traditional Mario attack will not work on him. One of the only things being capable of defeating him are Professor Egad's poltergust vacuums, which needed to keep being upgraded due to how King Boo would become more powerful each time Luigi fought him. Being inside the poltergust wouldn't kill him either due to his immortality, so he had to be turned into a painting each time. That was the only way to contain him. King Boo can trap others in paintings of his own as well, which he has done to Mario not once, not twice, but 3 different times. As the master of illusions, he can create a puppet body of Bowser to inhabit that gives him some of Bowser's basic abilities like his signature fire breath, as well as being able to create portals to his paranormal dimension, a place where he pretty much controls everything that happens there and can make certain objects just appear out of thin air. The majority of this power comes from his crown, which he used to destroy the moon in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon and to mind control the ghosts against Luigi in Luigi's Mansion 3. Just an absolute beast all around, but not quite the strongest of all. For number 2, we have Super Dimentio, the true final boss in Super Paper Mario and widely considered the strongest villain in the Paper Mario series. Some may argue in the entire Mario franchise as a whole. Being a fusion between Dimentio, Luigi, and the Chaos Heart, it really feels like this guy has it all. Initially becoming invincible just like Count Bleck did earlier, he was able to do the thing Count Bleck couldn't do prior to defeat. He was successful in destroying several worlds in hopes of creating beautiful new ones. Although the fight in itself is pretty straightforward gameplay-wise, with him just having a basic punch attack, shooting cubes, and jumping high to land on you, the feat of being able to destroy all those worlds is more than enough to have him this high. It's just such a ridiculously powerful thing to pull off that no other Mario antagonist has been able to do. So if nobody else has done this, then who is number 1? Of course, the number 1 spot has to be to the king of the Koopas himself, Bowser. Mario's arch nemesis has been through hell and back throughout all his main villain roles. I don't think there's been a single character in all of video gaming that has fell into lava more than this guy and survived every single time without fail. Bowser has proved time and time again why he's so strong. From his fiery breaths to planet-sized strength in games like Super Mario Galaxy 2, nobody has been able to do it like him. Now, some of you may be thinking, hey, wait a sec, Bowser never destroyed multiple dimensions in one fell swoop the same way Super Dimentio did. So why is he number 1? Well, let me explain how this works. Since you can use Bowser to defeat Super Dimentio all by himself if you choose to do so during the final boss, that means Bowser is stronger than him, which by default also gives Bowser feats equal to a being that can destroy several dimensions at once. It's that simple. Yes, the pure hearts were at play, but normal Dimentio was not able to match up to Bowser prior to this, not even close. The fact of the matter is, he can still be the winner of that fight. And it's not like Super Dimentio is no longer Super Dimentio once the barrier is gone, it's still the same fusion as before. It would be a different story if breaking the barrier with the pure hearts destroyed the fusion altogether, but that's not the case. Bowser has taken on many powerful forms across history, such as Dreamy Bowser, Shiny Robo Bowser, and most recently, Fury Bowser, which has become my favorite form personally, which gives Bowser the power of black paint, increases his size tenfold to the point where his fireballs essentially become a meteor shower when used in succession, and the power to make massive shockwaves. As it stands, I think Bowser will always remain at the top of the food chain when it comes to Mario bad guys, but maybe that'll change someday, who knows. I'm curious what you guys think though. Do you believe there's anyone else that's more deserving to be on this list? Someone like Antasma, Bowser Jr., or Cursa perhaps? Or maybe you guys agree with the actual list itself, but just think it should be ordered differently? Let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like down below, it helps out a ton. But for now, I will see you guys next time. Peace out, take care, bye-bye.